The Winnebago County Sheriff's Department says they think it's more than one person going around doing the robberies because the things they're stealing are rather heavy. A company that brews this beer. You can't see who they are because they don't have a label. They weren't sure if the man was actually armed, but judging by the response, the kind of personnel and kind of equipment they have here, they're not taking any chances. Now, probably the biggest thing you'll notice is here along the west side of the terminal. They're going to build onto the structure and extend it outward to where there's actually a parking lot right now. For nearly a month and a half now, Clayton Courtney was the only suspect in the death of his girlfriend, Brittany Cross. Now, there's a line that goes along Front Street here in Byron. That's the city's main line. No, that's not where the problem is. The problem are the lateral lines that feed to the main line here along Market Street. Right now, I'd say in the last 5 minutes or so, the rain started picking up here on Rockford's southwest side. It is coming down very hard. Well, employees at Rockford Memorial Hospital walked into work this morning to a surprise thank you celebration. Sheriff Myers also said Deputy James Abadi followed protocol and, quote, did everything right in last night's shooting on Rockford's far west side. We'll have highlights from those games and a lot more, so join us on the update at 10. Enjoy the rest of the Ice Hawks game. This is exclusive video caught by a 23 News camera of a high-speed chase showing what appears to be murder suspect Terrence Doughty running from police, reaching speeds of 100 miles an hour. Moments later, investigators say Doughty crashed the car, stolen from one of his alleged victims, into this tree on the lawn of a home in rural western Beloit.
Well, I thought it was a bad accident, so I yelled to my daughter to call 911. There were cops with guns drawn. Yeah. So then I knew something was going on.
Doughty has been wanted for 2 murders since Monday. The first, Todd Hansmeyer. The 2 were reportedly best friends. The second, what seems to be a random killing, Tanya Bargman, murdered at a rest stop near Paw Paw. Police say it was her stolen car Doughty crashed.
He was airborne. He tried jumping the ditch of the neighbor's yard, and he went over and he sheared off a pine tree. Then he went through their chain link fence, and then he crashed into our tree here.
Investigators say Doughty led 6 different police departments on a wild chase that began in South Beloit. This cell phone footage sent to us by a viewer gives us a brief look at that high-speed pursuit. Police say Doughty was tased before finally being subdued and arrested. He was then transported to a hospital. Rockford Police Lieutenant Pat Hoy says he's relieved this dangerous alleged criminal is off the streets.
It's just one more thing we don't have to worry about. Be back in our mind that we're still looking for this gentleman. It was very manpower intensive for the last several days, all this week.
With the technology that's involved, the stability, they're amazingly easy to fly.
John Curtis owns Hobbytown USA in Loves Park and says he's been selling drones now for more than 3 years. To him, these drones represent the latest in technology. This is infrared video taken from a drone. It's something Curtis believes police and emergency crews can use to find criminals or help save lives.
A few people can do mischievous things with any sort of device, and I think the benefits far outweigh the risk of that.
Drones are fairly new in the public market. They're small and can hover above almost anything. Some people argue that more of these little drones in the sky with cameras on them, they may pose a privacy risk. But one local legislator says that shouldn't be a concern.
It's a new wave, and it's something that we're going to have to get used to.
Rockford Senator Dave Severson says people call his office wanting new laws prohibiting drones with cameras. But Severson says that likely won't happen.
There are laws in the books already that deal with privacy issues. Whether you're doing it by your hand or doing it by a machine, it's really the same thing.
Rockford University IT Director P.J. Way has been paying close attention to drones and says the FAA is still creating regulations, but right now only commercial use is prohibited nationally. In Illinois, there are laws regulating what police can do with drone video, but again, nothing on public use.
Restricting use will only come after people begin to violate and abuse it, and that would have to be probably pretty extensive.
Chris Weesey's battle is far from the front lines. Instead, every day appears to be a mental fight, one he hopes could end thanks to a new friendship.
I almost still can't believe this actually happened, honestly. And this is going to be a big change in my life.
Weesey is an Army veteran who served 2 tours of duty in Iraq. Since returning home, he's suffered from PTSD and says he's not the man he used to be.
First time I came back overseas, I didn't want to get out my house.
Weesey struggles with severe anxiety and finds it almost unbearable to do things most of us take for granted. Last year, he met a fellow veteran who promised to get his life back on track, a Marine named Chris Marone, who also struggles with PTSD.
Seeing him, I kind of saw myself and where he is now. You know, I used to be at that point with my PTSD, and have come a long way, and I've come a long way because of Diesel and because service dog.
I haven't picked up a Tangle yet.
When the two met, the Army vet's PTSD was kicking in, and the Marine did the only thing he knew to do.
And I, grabbed Diesel's leash and handed it over to him.
I saw the change, and even she saw the change of me just for that one day. I haven't felt that for a long time, honestly.
These are our puppies here that we're going to be hopefully pairing up with our veterans.
That encounter convinced Chris Marone to create Military Amigos, a group that gives service dogs to veterans with PTSD.
Chris says it usually costs a vet $30,000 to get a service dog, but Chris is giving them one for free, and he's taking care of all the training.
Any veteran who has PTSD deserves his chance, deserves to have that normalcy and feel like they're a normal human being.
It's amazing. Can't really describe it, being able to change somebody's life like that. And I knew we were going to help him from the first time we met him in Chicago. So as soon as I saw how he reacted to Diesel, I looked at him, I said they got to be the first ones.
Weesey now has a new buddy, and although it'll be many months before little Kilo will be a certified service dog, Chris says the animal is more than just a pet. He's a friend.
I'm just looking forward for a better life and just have fun.
Daddy's got puppies.